Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the live stream of the OSINT Curious project. I'm Micah Hoffman, better known as Web Breacher, and I'm thrilled to be here with some of my very talented OSINT community partners and friends. Hey, everybody. How about we go around and I'll hand it off to Nix. Steven, why don't you say hi and then pass it off to one of the other wonderful members here.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I go by the name Nick Sintel, although my real name is Stephen Harris, as I guess you might know by now. I'm really looking forward to this webcast and everyone that's here this evening. So we've got quite a full house this evening. So I'll pass it over and say hi to Christina.
Hello, everyone on my side as well. My name is Christina Lekati, and on Twitter I go by the same exact name. So I will pass it on to Ines, who has a difficult Twitter handle.
So, hi everyone, Ines Narciso on Twitter, IWN_Alex from my city, Lisbon in Portugal. Over to Nico.
Hey everybody, it's Nico Dekens here, also known as Dutch_OSINT guy on the internets. And I'll pass it over to Technisette, but I think she has audio issues. Can you introduce yourself?
No, I think I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, hi everyone. I'm Lisette, also known as Technisette on Twitter. And I'm not sure who's left now. Was I the last one, or do I need to pass it over to Micah?
Hey, you're actually pointing up to me. That's so cool. Yeah, everybody, welcome. I'm absolutely thrilled that so many of you were able to be here this episode. For those of you just joining us, we are the OSINT Curious project. On the bottom of the screen are our details, whether it's our website, the handle that we use on most of the social media platforms, the location of a chat group, Discord that you can come and talk with us when we're not live streaming, and a link to our Patreon patron site. If you're interested in contributing to help us keep the lights on and all, we really would appreciate it. And as always, subscribe to our channel so that you know when we're doing some more live streaming. Damn it, I said screaming. All right. I know.
That would be very weird, Micah.
Yeah, you know what? That might actually go over pretty well. You know, just we get on here and we just do live screaming for the entire time.
Some people need that, you know. We had tough weeks.
That's true.
What?
Yeah, or we're very old, like Nico's implying. Okay, so for those of you just joining us, welcome. We are the OSINT Curious project, and we are here to share some of the fun things about open source intelligence. And we have a big group here from our OSINT Curious project to talk about some pretty cool issues as well. As most of you know, this is a live stream. So if you're joining us live on Twitch, Twitter, Periscope, or YouTube, say hi to us. I see that we've got some of our longtime viewers here. We got Reset Flag, Matthew Feely, Nocent. Hey, what's up, Josh? Paul, Diego, welcome to our broadcast. Now, if you're joining us on one of the platforms like YouTube, unfortunately, the platform that we're using, StreamYard, while it streams to multiple platforms, you're not going to be able to see the comments from the other platforms. So if somebody's from Twitch saying hi to us, we might respond to them, and it's not going to show up in your comments. So just so you know how this works a little bit. All right, so this episode, OSINT Curious people, I thought what we would do is take something that, Stephen, you mentioned that on a previous live stream, a listener had a request of us. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. One of the live streams we did a couple of weeks ago, one of the questions that came up was, because we talk a lot about tools and techniques, and someone said, how do we, before you decide what tools you use or what techniques you're going to use, like how do you plan an OSINT investigation before you leap for the tools? So I thought we could talk a bit about how to start off, because if you start off right, then you'll finish right, hopefully.
Cool.
And if you start off badly, you'll finish badly. So we'll look at starting investigations and boundaries and things like that.
That sounds like fun. And it sounds like a great topic. For those of you that are new to our live stream, one of the first things we do on our live stream is we play Geoguessr's daily challenge to just kind of do a warm up. And After that, we will spend the next half hour discussing that topic that Stephen just talked about. How do you start an OSINT investigation? And I love that we have such a diverse group here of people with law enforcement backgrounds or business OSINT or even CTF and other people backgrounds. So we're going to be able to give you a lot of different perspectives. And this is a live stream, so we hope you contribute as well. Y'all ready to play some Geoguessr?
Yep.
All right, cool. So here are the rules streaming across the bottom of the screen. For those of you that don't know, geoguessr.com is a website that allows us to use Google Street View imagery. They put us down in a certain location, and we have 3 minutes in the daily challenge to figure out what country, city, and town we are in. And the closer we get to the actual location, the more points we score, which is terrific. There are some rules that we like to follow. First off, no Googling, no looking up phone number exchanges or anything like that. We want to do everything from our memories. So if you're willing to play, let's go ahead and get to it. All right, here we have our Geoguessr. Now, one of the things that we need you to help us out with is to send us what you think the answers are here. Now, again, if you've played the daily challenge on Geoguessr today, please do not go ahead and please do not tell us the answer before we try our guess. All right, let's get into this. Ready? I'll launch our Geo tips. Here we go. Today's challenge. And we have to do these challenges within 3-minute rounds. First round, here we go. All right, so
It looks somewhere hot. There's a palm tree.
hot, and I'm thinking South America maybe. We have just some low buildings here. Oh no, maybe Indonesia or something. Asia. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that looks
Asia.
very
That's
south.
a really characteristic.
All right, so let's go down the road here and see what we see. Some bicycles on the right. Let's see if there's anything.
What's on the cap on the right?
Oh, on the cabs. Okay. Sorry about that. Hang on.
Yeah,
Yellow.
and you have tuk-tuks. So I would say like Cambodia
Okay.
or
So it says
something
radio
in Asia.
taxi, orange license plate.
Can we zoom
Yeah.
in more?
Nope, that's as far as we can zoom. Is there anything on the side
Malaysia.
of these? See a tuk-tuk. Yes, Diego, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Oh, how about this? Taller de motos, Alex. Huh.
Taller de motos. That's
Okay.
Spanish.
That's
It's Spanish.
I think.
So we're not talking Asia.
Philippines.
Could be. Yeah.
Let's keep
Mm.
going.
Can you move a little bit more? Yeah.
Yep. Let's move a little bit more and see what we see here. We've got. Oh,
Viviana.
Yeah, that's Spanish.
that's Spanish, but
What's
Yeah.
on the right? Can you
What?
move over a little bit more to the east and to the corner?
okay.
So move forward.
Let's go all the way to
And
the
that-
corner here. All right,
Yeah,
we've got 1
move.
minute 30. All right, so this is
Yeah, it looks
a
like
shopping
an-
mall.
Yeah, like a market.
Hang
a
on.
big market.
Mm-hmm.
Mercado e Centro Municipal do Huaquilas. So Huaquilas should be the place because it says market and shopping mall. Municipal is like
The municipality.
yeah.
Police. Ecuador?
Oh,
East
good.
Could be.
911. That's a good suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico.
I don't know. Diego says Mexico. But I don't.
Movistar is a Latin America
It's a phone network.
phone
isn't it?
company. Yeah,
Yeah.
phone network.
Yeah.
Yeah, Movistar.
All right, so,
So
we
yeah.
got 30
Oh,
seconds left.
Bananas, fresh bananas for sale there. Ecuador. I think Ecuador is a good.
Ecuador.
Yeah.
I would
All right,
agree.
let's try it because the ECU. All right, yeah, that ECU. Nice. Oh, I should have picked an actual
Wow.
location. I was playing Country Streak where all you have to do is get in the right country. So I mistakenly did that here.
But
But
still,
okay.
443. It's
Yeah.
good.
Absolutely. 433 kilometers. Now, one of the things that we like to do is get better at this game instead of just guessing. So we use the geotips.net website, which is a free website. I'll post that into the chat. And what it does is it allows us to get some of those some more details about the different countries. For instance, here's the flag of Ecuador. Somebody on an earlier stream like months ago said that if you see bananas, it's Ecuador, I believe. Just like they are the banana capital of of South America or something. All right, so we didn't see any bollards. This is, let's see, road lines, so it has yellow lines. All right, here's some kilometer markers. As Ines pointed out, they use Spanish there, right? All right, yellow diamond shapes. Pare. And here's the road numbering system. Okay. So we have so this would have been really helpful if we saw an interstate or a sign that said Ecuador E35. And here's the light poles and then the license plates. We did see this orangey license plate down here, right? So
yeah, but many countries have this color and it was totally blurred out. It would be very helpful if the signs with the word Ecuador were up there.
I know, right? Yeah. All right, so here we've got the alphabet and alphabet and script and the country. Very good. All right, that was pretty good. Okay, let's keep going here. Our country number 2 appears in a mountainous area with deciduous trees. We have something that says when frosty and kilometers, which would tell me not the United States.
United States.
No, I don't think it's the United States because
Australia or New
kilometers.
Zealand. I know Australia use kilometers. I think New Zealand do too.
Let's see. So we see some northern trees. Let's see. Was this Phillips Road? And
which side are we driving?
Yeah,
which
that's
side?
the next thing. Let's see if we can get down here and see a sign, whether it's facing us or facing away from us.
We can see the Google car, and we can see which way the Google car is driving.
Yeah, let's see if we can look down. I don't see that. Well, I think we're driving on the right-hand side of the road, but I wouldn't swear that. We have palm trees there, so this is a more tropical location.
If that was the case, it could be New Zealand.
Yes, we've had we're driving on the left-hand side. See the sign is facing us here.
Yeah,
Havelock.
Yeah, that may be New Zealand or Australia. I would say.
Let's see, toilets. Do they call toilets over there? Or
I'm not sure.
All right. So left-hand side. Let's see. What did that say over here?
There was a post box, a green one.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. Sometimes it'll say like the Australian Herald.
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it does say that. Don't you laugh at it. All right. New Zealand. Okay. Matthew says it's New Zealand too, and it's just a guess. Hey, you know what? I appreciate your honesty there. Let's see these people. So they are dressed in warm attire. So maybe this was taken in a warmer month, but also we saw the tropical.
But it also looked like they're wearing these life jackets for when you're going, for example, canoeing or something. There's the water on the right.
All right, let's go back over here. We went that way. Let's go this way just briefly to see what's up here. Overhead power cables, Paul. Good. Yeah. All right, we've got 37. We saw Havelock. I'm willing to try New Zealand if that's what people are thinking.
Yeah,
go for it.
Probably, maybe.
Go up.
Drop it into somewhere where it's green.
Okay. Green
Violet.
and water.
Violet.
All right, so I'm going to put it there, but let's just see if we can look down here for Havelock. Anything? 10 seconds. We've got some time.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
We were right. Yeah, New Zealand. Now let's go through how we figured out New Zealand. Does anybody want to recap? Give me one thing that we thought that made us think New Zealand.
We had English language signs, but with the metric system.
Okay.
So like the UK
Kilometers.
use miles, but that was kilometers. So that was a kind of a clue.
Okay. What else?
Well, the tropical kind of look and feel of the area that doesn't match Europe.
Okay.
The palm trees, for example,
Yeah.
the plants.
Yep. And overhead power cables. Paul's very
know.
like focused on the overhead power cables. But yes, they were there. Absolutely. We saw that we were driving on the left-hand side of the road too. And one of the things about the GeoTips site here is that it will show you what side of the road some people commonly drive on, or people should be driving on. Here you can see all of Australia and New Zealand drive on the left-hand side. There's the little key right there. All right, so let's take a look at this. We didn't see the Google car. I know that Lizette said, check out the Google car, but we didn't see that. We didn't really see bollards. Here we have that lush climate. You see the palm trees and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, bicycle stuff, road signs. All right. Diagonal warning signs. Huh, we didn't see that. All right. Electricity poles. There you go, Paul. Some overhead electric lines for you. All right. Here's some yellow poles for traffic lights. Ooh, license plates are pretty small, but they have a small country. And here's the different areas. Yeah, there's the general look. Okay, so some mountains, lush tropics. Now, this is the other thing we didn't see is Maori. We just saw the English writing too. All right, cool. So that's New Zealand. Well done. We're 2 for 2 as far as countries. Let's get to round number 3. Ooh, that looks oceany, right? I mean, yeah. Let's see. What is this person?
But the sand is quite dark, so
it is.
Yeah, it could be.
Which
Portugal,
is also
right?
New Zealand. Yeah.
In the Azores, they have these kinds of beaches, and in Madeira as well. But we don't have that image.
Yep, 40 kilometers. So we are in a place in the world that's sane and uses the metric system.
And it's pretty dry.
Yeah. Let's see if we can see what this sign says up here. Precaution. So Spanish?
That's Spanish.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer. There we go. Salida.
The Canary Islands also have darker sand beaches as well.
Yeah.
Good guess. Good guess.
Canary Islands.
Probably.
Yeah.
Now, Chris Clark
volcanic
on
sand.
YouTube is saying volcanic sand, possibly.
Yeah, it is.
The Canary Islands
Yeah.
also have volcanic beaches.
Yeah,
There's a sign.
Tenerife, maybe.
All right. What about South America? Does this look like South America to anybody?
Not to me.
No.
Doesn't mean doesn't have to be,
but we have a big kind of hills here too. So it's not
I think Lizette is right because it looks a lot like the Canary Islands.
Okay. Okay, so let me throw something out. What else could it be? If you had to pick somewhere else aside from the Canary, here's some bollards. Huh. That looks gorgeous. I want to go there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go the other direction.
Could it be Ibiza or something?
Let's look here. I know this is kind of silly, but let's see what people are here and what they're wearing.
They look like tourists or hikers.
They're not dressed for walking, are they? They haven't.
But it's weird that they would be walking along this road.
Like the sea looks a little bit too big to be Mediterranean Sea. So it looks much more like Atlantic Sea.
All right.
And the waves as well.
Yeah, like an ocean.
Yeah.
So
there's a sign coming up.
Yep. Here we go. What does that say?
It's the time schedule of opening. So from
30
where are we trying?
Canary.
So that's
like by Morocco. In front, there's some islands.
Okay, right, like here.
Yeah, there. Yeah, that one. Yeah. So I would say maybe Tenerife, one of those.
Pick the middle.
Middle it is. Masapalomas. Here we go.
Then we have the.
Oh
no!
And what is
Not even close.
South America. Where is it?
You had a feeling that it wasn't the Canary.
Yeah, but somebody said it was the Atlantic. It could have gone any way. We had a huge amount of coast there. Yeah, Matthew and other people are saying it could have been
Portugal.
Portugal or other things. It was challenging there. But okay, let's take a look at
We
this
could have
country
got any
here,
lower than
Chile.
10 points.
What were we saying? Yeah, we got 10 points from that. Yay. No, at
Don't
that point, I
spend all
just
the
want to say,
points at
listen,
once.
keep the points, Geoguessr, and just give us a sad face or something like that. Oh, yeah. All right, so let's come up here to go to South America and learn about Chile. Diego, yeah, Chile. Okay. So here, we didn't see any flags. We didn't see the Google car. We saw bollards, but they were the white and red ones. We didn't see any like high desert like that. No. We didn't really see any big road signs. Again, this was a tough one. Paul, there are your overhead electrical wires. Didn't see any license plates. Yep.
That could have been a good way to be sure that we weren't in Europe because of the license plates.
Absolutely. So what you're seeing is that the license plates don't have that little blue EU section or just aren't as long even, right?
And at least they have the country name underneath it, the license plate in Chile.
Okay. And there's the alphabet. This is the Spanish language. Okay. Hey.
Yeah, we didn't get any of these hints.
Yeah, no real cues that this was Chile. So that was a tough one. No worries. Let's go in round 4. All right. So we have some more water. Now, last time it was like this, Ines, wasn't it Portugal? I mean, just...
Yeah, but the sidewalk is very un-Portuguese.
All right. Let's
because
head
in Portugal, they usually have like...
Ooh, this feels Eastern Europe.
Yeah, the car.
Definitely feels Eastern Europe. It's
and there's that is like a blue license plate with white writing instead of the blue.
Could be Polish, Czechies, or something.
Yeah, it's definitely a blue license plate. It also could be South America or something like that.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. We have some brickwork.
Yeah, Lada. It's a Lada.
There are over 127 countries that use white number plates.
127 countries.
Yes.
All right, well, we got Cyrillic here. So I'm thinking definitely with the Lada and the Cyrillic, I'm thinking that we are over in Eastern Europe.
So what countries use Cyrillic? I know, obviously, Russia,
Ukraine,
Serbia, Bulgaria. I don't know if
they speak English too. Yeah, they speak English too.
They speak English. At least their graffiti artists do. All right, so let's check what this sign says.
What's on
The
that road
walls
sign?
are pretty run down, so clearly.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suck at Cyrillic.
Yeah,
So,
me too.
what's on the right hand side? It says military do not. It on the red sign.
Military object do not enter.
Oh.
All right, so we are in a something. Wait, but that was an EU license plate, wasn't it? Here. Oh, so the other one might have been historic. See the little blue on the left?
Yeah,
it's probably EU.
So it could be EU, Serbia. This is still military object.
I know, is Serbia in the EU? I can't remember. I know Bulgaria is, and they use.
No, but they actually have a similar license plate. That is
Georgia.
I've seen that before. I've seen that like in it's like not the capital, but I've seen that place. Oh no. All right, well, instead of just guessing, let's come back over here.
You've got 30 seconds.
All right, thank you, Nico. No, so that's Serbia.
And there's probably a large river because there was a large
16.
bridge. Somewhere
Right,
near a river.
Novi Sad, that's Serbia. So.
Yeah.
All right, so 13 and 16. I know we have 20 seconds. Here's 13, right here.
Near a river, near a big river.
Near the river? Like here?
Because because there was a crossing over the river.
Let's see what we got.
Or probably, I hope it was.
Oh, yeah, well done.
That was not bad at
there
all.
We go.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, and actually, Adam in our chat said Novi Sad, that's Serbia. He really literally said it in our chat.
Yep. And that's where I clicked, Novi Sad.
Yep.
Right? But I think that was the road to get to Novi Sad. But well done. Serbia is not in the EU, right, so Taurus, but it has the license plate that looks EU-ish. It just doesn't have that EU emblem. Well, let's
or maybe they're cars from across the border. I'm not quite sure how close it was to a European country.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Maybe they crossed over.
Serbia. Show me Serbia. All right. Here's the flag. Here's that. Okay. So we have, let's see. That Lada was the only yeah. Serbia uses 2 alphabets, Cyrillic and Latin. So sometimes we'll see that. We didn't see any. Oh, yeah, we did actually. The sign that said that had the B on it.
The military object one.
Yeah, the military object. Yep. Okay. Let's see. So lots of coverage there. Oh, there's Hugo.
Oh, we literally saw that white card right there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same one. Yeah. All right. So those cards, that's good. Typical highway, which we didn't get to. Here are the road signs. Kind of saw that. Yeah, this one was actually easier because it wasn't just physical features. We had some words as well. And here you see the signs in Latin and in Cyrillic. Okay. Let's scroll down here. I didn't see the license plates. Do you see? Hang on. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if maybe they have the license plates down here. Da-da. Yes, we get it. Okay. Here's Hall's electrical wires. These will henceforth. See, this is what I was talking about. It has that blue area with no EU logo, which we won't be able to see because of the blurring, but it looks similar to EU license plates. And that's for reset flag. Yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about there. All right, cool. Well done, people. And let's take a look at the alphabet down here. Just zoom down because they have a lot of data about Serbia here. Holy cow. All right, here's the alphabet. And that's the Cyrillic and the Latin alphabets. There's a lot going on here. All right. Is this our last round? Let's see. I think we have one more. So. Yep. Round 5. Here we are. Feeling
Europe-y again. Germany.
UK. Kind of German. For me, it feels like Germany.
Yeah, Germany.
Me too.
Okay, there's a sign right over here, I think. Hang on. Oh, I can't get to it. Let's see what that says. Oh, that's French, isn't it? French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say Luxembourg.
And also the light, the poles with the lights, you guys. These do not exist here in Germany.
Right.
Could also be Belgium.
All right. So a French-speaking area. Let's go down the road.
Luxembourg sounds logical, though.
Okay.
It feels Germany, but they speak French-ish.
Paul says France. All right. Let's see. So, yeah. So, we're driving on the right-hand side of the road. EU license plate, looks like. Hang on. Or EU-like license plate. Where did that car go? Yep. We got the blue on the left there with the long plate. Okay. Let's go up the hill here. See what
that would be consistent with just Germany because the French have yellow license plate.
All right. Who likes trash? This is definitely French, right?
Yeah. I really doubt it's Germany. It could be at most be the part of Switzerland that no, actually.
Well, it could be Belgium as well.
No, because Switzerland doesn't have the EU license plate. So I would say Belgium or Luxembourg.
Yeah, true.
Where Belgian license plates are
the post sign. The post sign is Luxembourg.
Yeah.
If you go up a little bit, there's a yellow round sign. It's from the post office.
On the
left.
Wait,
there's flags.
And there's flags.
Oh, French flag. French flag.
These are French flags.
These are French flags.
We're in Marie.
And the European flag.
No, mairie is the French word, right? For like city hall. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we know we're in France. Now, where in France?
Close to Germany. Yeah.
We're on Rue de Forel. There we go. All right. So France, close to Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wish. Does that? I wonder if that shows us something down there. Hang on.
That must show.
Is this going to be you are here?
Lagarde.
Dabarit Samari. That's probably the name of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon. Given
all right.
time
so if you had to pick where in France,
north, close to the German border.
Near, or near Luxembourg. I would go up even more. Go up even more.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
Yeah. And there's lots of hills here too, so that would be consistent. So like right over in this area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of
North
Ogays are in there
America.
too.
And closer to Luxembourg, I would say.
Okay,
Yeah.
here we go. Let's see what happens. Ooh,
What?
south of
Oh.
France.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
all right. Hey, we got
I would
France.
never have guessed that. No.
We got France. Hang
No.
on. Hey, what's up, Ahmet from Turkey? Welcome. All right, so let's see. There's Albert de Saint-Marie. That was the town name. All right. Oh, well, we got the right countries in at least 4 out of 5 of these.
We scored points today.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This set's a good place because we can go up from here the rest of the week. This is all right. All right, so here's some bollards in France. We didn't really get to any really big roads. We were in a little town. There's a license plates.
It's probably way up in the mountains for that kind of architecture. So down south, it's probably at a high altitude.
Well, it's kind of, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean we could turn on the satellite view or something. All right, cool. Well, it's France. France. Let's see what we got. 16,048 points, which for Sunday is absolutely respectable. The rest of the week, we're going to try to keep improving on that. Hey, we nailed that New Zealand one too. I just want to put that out there.
The Chile one let us down, didn't it?
Yeah, we kind of messed that one up, but well done. Well done, people. And thank you to our wonderful audience that is helping us out. Paul and Nocent and Diego and all of the rest. Thank you so much for doing that. We are OSINT Curious if you're just joining us. And we are going to be talking now for the rest of our show about starting open source intelligence assessments. Now, before we talk about starting it, I thought it might be good for each of us to just tell a little bit about the general types of OSINT that we do so that our audience gets an understanding that, oh, Nico has done these things and Christina does these things. And if so, I'll go ahead and give a start. I do and have done in the past mainly open source intelligence assessments for businesses and some for law enforcement type of help, but not so much of the law enforcement. Who wants to go next?
Okay, I'll go next.
Go ahead,
so most of the time that I've been doing OSINT was in law enforcement context, so supporting criminal investigations. These days, I tend to do more in the realm of information security. So I'm looking at businesses and people to help them.
Okay, cool. Christina, you want to go next? I saw you nodding your head, so I just thought you could go next.
Yeah, good. I'm also on the business side. We do vulnerability assessments and open source intelligence for businesses in general. Also for the employees of the businesses to see whether there is any particularly vulnerable group, and also for high exposure targets or high risk targets.
Okay, thanks, Christina.
There are 3 different types.
Yep. Okay. Technisette, you want to go?
Yeah, I mostly work in law enforcement side, so I do a lot of people investigations, company investigations, and trying to locate people. But also looking at a crime scene to see if we can gain any witnesses or any other interesting information, for example, any cameras around the crime scene, etc. So that's what I mainly do.
Okay. Nico?
Background in law enforcement was mostly pointed towards counterterrorism and civil unrest. And nowadays I do high-profile targets mostly.
Okay. And Ines?
Yeah, so I did 12 years law enforcement, and nowadays I mostly use it for disinformation research and academic research regarding like social media use for like influence operations, political propaganda, that kind of stuff.
And genealogy.
And genealogy, which is so super. Now, I tend to like, no, I don't see it as OSINT that much, but it is. And it's exactly the same opening a process. So yeah, you're right.
All right. So you, our audience, now know a little bit about where we're coming from. Of course, you might be doing open source intelligence to find people in a capture the flag or to do some of the other things that we didn't mention. So keep in mind that the tips that we're going to give, the general types of techniques may need to be customized before you use them. But let me just throw out this to the group here. What do you do when you start an assessment or start an investigation? What is one of the first things you do? And we don't have to necessarily go in order, but Nico, what do you do when you start an assessment, an investigation?
I ask questions. That's what I do.
What do you mean?
I ask questions to, in this case, let's presume you have a client. I ask them, what do you want to know? And in essence, they will first of all always say, I want to know everything. And then my question is, what do you mean with everything?
Yeah.
I want to know where, I don't know, person X lives. I want to know if person X has a friend, or those are questions I can try to answer. Finding an answer to everything, it's impossible, especially with the internet. So I try to really refine what they are looking for. And then I ask for seed data. What do you have that I can work with?
Okay, so you
Nico,
mentioned the idea of narrowing scope, of not just doing all the things, but having a focus, a reason to use. Christina, I'm sorry for interrupting you. What were you going to say?
yeah, I wanted to ask Nico because this is something we come across very often. People don't know what they want to know. So you might ask them about the scope and they're going to be like, we want ABC, but we are not really sure. Make a recommendation. What should we look for? What do you do in this case?
Well, it depends what, again, I'm trying to predict their answer in essence. So if a client asks me, hey, I want to know if I have a high profile target that we want to protect, what do you want to protect? Do you want to protect him? Do you want to protect his house? Do you want to protect his family? What do you want to protect? So with that, you, again, try to refine specifically to come up with an answerable question. That's basically what I'm always looking for.
It always helps me to ask the person who's asking me a question and they say, well, give me everything. I always try to ask them, if there is one thing I can give back to you, what is it that you're hoping for me that I can find so it can help you in your investigation? So, and most of the time they say, well, I just really want to know if he's still engaging with his son, for example, or I would really like to know if he's involved in this business as somebody who might be running a restaurant or something. And asking them what they hope I can give them kind of helps also. But it helps
kind of that
refining the
success.
question. It's very important.
It's that success criteria. What would a successful investigation look like to you? Oh, I would have the answers to this question, and this question. Cool. Now, since you want to know those things, let's go ahead and figure out what I should be able to do from there. Ines, Stephen, did you have some thoughts?
Yeah, just and you kind of touched on it all, but I guess it's if you start with a vague set of questions, you get vague intelligence back at the end, and it's like I want to know everything. Okay, well, here's everything, and you get a very broad pool of information that's not very deep. So I think as the lead investigator or researcher, then you actually need to develop the skill of being able to interview your client and asking them the right kind of questions. And it's all like we used to call them the 5 WH questions, but the who, why, what, where, when, how, to get that specific information out to people. Because if you start vague, you end vague, and you end up in a ton of rabbit holes and don't have a lot of useful information at the end. Because that's what you want to have at the end, isn't it? You want to have a really good, polished, well-researched bit of intelligence that is going to help your client.
I tend to look at it like there are times that you want that vagueness. For instance, there have been many assessments I've done where it's find all the things you can about this person, because maybe we're looking to see what their online presence is, to find things to remove from the internet. Like Nico, you were saying with high value targets, or maybe it's just, hey, let's kind of go fit. I think of it like fishing. You're throwing out a net. What comes back? It could be things that you want. It might not be things that you want, but once you know what's out there, then you can go with more kind of targeted, maybe like a phase 1, phase 2 type of thing where we just cast a wide net, find out what's there, then review with our customers sometimes the we found these things, which should we dig in more, which is more interesting to you to answer the questions. Ines, did you want to share any points there before we move on?
Yeah, I think it depends a lot also in the type of work you're doing. And I used to be known as the girl that made the why question. I would ask why very often, because sometimes the why explains to you also why certain like leads or certain information isn't given to you. So in intelligence, for example, it's very common that they don't give you everything because they don't want you to create a bias, and they want to validate what they already have. And sometimes it may be frustrating because you start an investigation and you find all these things and you're so excited, and in the end it's like, yeah, okay, we have that already. But but actually it may be very important, because the sources or the places that you got your information may be very different from the places they had their information, because maybe they had it from a human source or they had it from signals intelligence. And then if you had already that information, it can create a sort of a bias on the way that you're doing your research. So I guess it's really important when you ask, have you given me everything you have, to understand very clearly if the other person doesn't want to do you like very specific questions, or doesn't want to give you every details why they are doing so. So they have to be open, like, I have some specific questions, but I don't want you to already have like this bias towards it. So just please find everything that you can, or something like that.
Well, you bring up a very good point about the customer, client, stakeholder, whatever you call it in your industry, withholding certain bits of data to not bias the investigation. In my experiences with a lot of my customers, they will withhold data because they want to see what I can find. And some of them want that Hollywood experience of, oh, I saw in this movie how, with just a cell phone, they were able to pull up everything about a person's life. And one of the things I always try to do, I think one of you mentioned about counseling or educating your customer. Maybe Christina did. Yeah. Educating your customer. I say, I can do that without any information. However, in order to validate that this information is about you, having that extra detail, the extra details about where you live and all that, phone number or whatever it is, can be useful and can actually help me work more efficiently. So do any of you end up doing that counseling like Christina was mentioning to your customers and helping them understand how you work?
Yeah, I need to ask them for seed data. Also explaining them, if you do not give me seed data, so email addresses, phone numbers, home addresses, family members, all that stuff, otherwise I cannot find information, because basically every tool that I'm going to use needs a form of information as input to generate new output that could be pivot points or confirmation on what I'm looking for. So I need to educate my clients or my team leaders or my bosses with, hey, you've asked me this, but to find that, I need something. And they will, well, in my experience, they will say, I have nothing. Well, and if you ask questions again, well, what do you have? Well, I have a first name. I know where they went to school. I know where their mother's maiden name. I don't know, all those things. Well, now you've given me something to work with. And then, for instance, I can pivot into Technisette.com, and she will point me toward email lookup tools or phone number lookup tools, and so on and so on and so on.
Love the way you gave that little plug for Technisette.com there. Nice. Very smooth.
Me too. Thank you.
And Technisette.com does not sponsor OSINT Curious, so we're good there. Not Technisette.
I do the same that Nico does as well. And what I've noticed that when I'm joining a new investigative team and they're not so familiar with my techniques or the things I can bring to the table, I sometimes give a short presentation saying, hey, these are questions you can ask me. You can ask me if a business has moved locations, if people have been involved in a certain business. You can ask me if somebody is having a holiday somewhere, or where his permanent residence is, or you can ask me if I can find an accurate phone number of somebody, or a new email address, or a new lead, or whatever. And that actually helps people approaching me, because if I'm joining and they have no clue what I'm doing, but I have explained what I can bring to the table, they come to me and they will, like, along the way, they will learn what kind of questions they can ask me. And that's really helpful too.
So it's basically like a restaurant at yours. So you need to give you present them their
you
menu,
give
and
them
then
the
they can
menu.
pick from it.
Yeah.
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 We have a
So-
special today.
Special on your data. So I guess one of the questions is, we were talking about, this is from a little bit earlier. Matthew says, do you offer your own suggestions at this stage? And I guess more globally, once you find some things, or even in the scoping, I think, Nico, you've already mentioned that you help probe your client and help them understand the types of data that you might want. Stephen, you mentioned about interviewing your customer or your client as well. So do you also find that you are teaching them about how open source intelligence works? What are the things that we can do and what we can't do, and offer suggestions about the types of data or types of things you might find out there?
Yeah, I think sometimes we can make a dangerous assumption of assuming that everyone knows what we know about the internet, and that's not the case. And sometimes you have to start with really basic stuff, or sort of let people down gently and say, it's not voodoo, this is not magic. Like, there's a lot of techniques and thought processes that go into it. But yeah, you have to, the more specific they can be about what they want, the more sort of prescriptive you can be and say, this is what we can do, this is what we might be able to do, this is what we can't do. So people you just have to educate people as you go.
It always amazes me when we, or at least when I did that, explaining clients about authentication walls. So that you cannot find stuff behind an authentication wall because it will not be indexed by search engines. For instance, Facebook, you need to authenticate to see the publicly available content. You will not find it in Google. You will find some information in Google or in Bing, but definitely not all. And when you explain that to people, hey, it's nearly impossible to see someone's timeline unless you are logged into Facebook and then hoping that their timeline is public. Some people that I've done business with, they were like, really? Yeah, really. That's how the internet works. You need to tell them. And sometimes you even need to show them, here, this is how it works. Here's my laptop. Look at it. And now they're like, oh, but now I understand why it takes time and you are asking these questions. Yeah.
Right. One really important thing that you are talking about here is also the management of expectations. And I feel that a lot with genealogy. It happens to me a lot because you may devote like several weeks into an investigation and it takes a lot of time and you've done everything. And in the end, you have like a 2-page really lousy report on what you found because you didn't find anything. And at another customer, like after 3 days, you have like almost a PhD thesis on that company or that target. And they will go like, oh, you're amazing. And you think like, yeah, but I did such a better work with the other one. So I think about this issue of educating people and managing their expectations and trying to explain them before they hire us that the results doesn't always like show how much work was put into an investigation, and that it depends on something that you cannot control, which is how much information is available. So I would say that's also a very important issue to talk like straight away.
Yeah, and this is something that we communicate with our clients always, that we might find amazing things that are going to be needed to be acted upon immediately, or we might find fewer things or things of lesser importance, which means that you have done a pretty okay job covering your tracks. And usually they accept it. And in fact, the times that we didn't find too many things on clients, we wrote what we searched for and didn't find, because you have to communicate what you looked at. Yeah, but they are happy. They're usually like, so can you tell us we did a good job?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, it's pretty good.
Well, and that's an important thing as well. That negative result is still a result. Hey, we looked in all of these places and didn't find as much as what we have found in other clients, like Ines was saying, or we didn't find anything at all. That's still a valid result and allows people to take that work and move forward. Let's touch on that accessibility point, because people are talking right now in our Slack. Diego's mentioning about sock puppets, and Paul is too, and all. So, Nico, you were mentioning about accessibility of data. Now, this is open source intelligence, right? Where everything is free and open to the world. except when we use sock puppet accounts, research accounts, those synthetic identities to log into a platform. So do you all end up asking your customers, do you want me to do this, or do you not want me to do this, or you just say, I'm going to grab stuff from social media and I'll use some accounts that I have?
Well, it depends really. I think if a platform is open by default, but you still have to have an account to access it, for instance, Facebook or Instagram. For me, those platforms are open by default. You can only access it with a sock puppet account. They do not have extra paywalls, extra other things, other boundaries, which make it harder to access. With that, for me, that's freely open and available. Sometimes there are platforms you need to pay a couple of euros or dollars for. Still openly available platforms, but some clients may not feel comfortable with doing that because, in essence, on a lot of these platforms, you are violating the terms of service because they will often clearly state it's illegal to use those platforms with a sock puppet account or a false identity. So
Facebook states that too.
Yeah, but well, you need to, since I'm in the private sector nowadays, sometimes I need to discuss that with clients just to make sure that their legal team, most of the times, understand what I'm going to do if they run into legal issues afterwards. The clients themselves often will say, hey, go ahead, do your magic voodoo thing on the internet, like Nico said.
Steven said it's not voodoo.
No. And the legal team could say, well, maybe stay a little bit more passive. It really depends.
Okay. So let's tackle this question from Josh from OSINT. How do you handle the trustworthiness of a research question? Trustworthiness of a question.
Well, the question itself I formulate with the client, so I can assume that the formulation of a question is trustworthy. Maybe the answer is something else. It depends on the reliability of the source. Depends on, can I find that same information in different sources that can confirm it or that I can corroborate? So it really depends.
Probably also the difference between working in the private sector and in the public sector, because for me in law enforcement, I can verify a lot of information by sending a subpoena to, for example, Google. So, and in the private sector, you won't have that option. So you might need other sources to extra verify whatever you found.
For me, one source is no source. I at least try to find one additional other source, and preferably 3 or more. But, well, you can imagine that's not always the case. But at least I'm exhausting my resources to find that information, to find that confirmation.
Steven, I know you want to say something, but before we do, I'd like to just push back to OSINT. I want to know whether his question is this about the trustworthiness of your client? So Technisette mentioned that, if you're working in law enforcement, you trust the other people in law enforcement. If I'm working in a team doing cybersecurity and risk assessments and all, I understand where this is coming from. However, I have a business of doing consulting, and anybody on the internet, and lots of people have come and just said, hey, I want you to find my long lost sister. And I guess my question is trustworthiness of the research question. Are you talking about whether I trust the random person that reaches out to me and says, hey, I want you to find my long lost sister, and it could be a domestic violence abuser that is trying to help me find somebody who's escaped them or something like that? Okay. Is the person entitled to do the research for the client, he says? Is the person entitled to?
I think this refers to how you interpreted the question before. Like, somebody can ask you, can you find my long lost love? And maybe that's a stalker trying to find whoever he lost in his stalking game. I think that's what OSINT meant.
I guess that's what it is. Yeah. So is the person entitled to actually ask you for your help? So
I always check my clients.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I always check my clients, and I only do businesses with known, let's say, companies. I don't do business with private individuals unless I'm absolutely 100% sure that I can check them and everything checks out. But that I think that only happened like 1 or 2 times.
Okay.
On average, it's companies that have legitimate backgrounds, legitimate legal teams, and that thing. But yeah, I have a reputation in law enforcement and in government, so I want to keep and maintain that good reputation.
Okay.
So I'm very picky when it comes to accepting clients.
All right. So verifying the client. Who else? Stephen, did you want to mention something?
Yeah, I was going to mention something that we just talked about a moment before, but I've never actually done that private client work. I mean, I guess maybe some of our viewers and you guys do too, get these random questions sometimes. I really need to find this. I really need to find my ex-wife because she's got my kids, or like that's always a big red flag to me. So people like that, I've never been asked to do formal work for those sort of, and I don't know actually. I don't know how I would go about verifying some of those really obscure, strange requests that you get. But I certainly wouldn't do them. I don't know about you guys.
Any other thoughts on verifying your clients?
Yeah, I have 2 challenges nowadays. I have actually, one of them is an opposite challenges, which is, do I give everything that I find? Especially in genealogy, sometimes we find like really bad family stories, like their grandfather murdered like the entire family. And you're like, yeah, is it really going to help the person to know this? And so that's one ethical challenge. And I would say with my pro bono work with revenge porn, what happens a lot is I help people take the content out, and I do some OSINT work, but then sometimes victims, and it's normal, they want more. So they were like, I want to know who the people were who shared it first, and I want to know who they are, because maybe they're his friends, or maybe like, so his ex-boyfriend involved. And then when it gets very personal, it's challenging, because it's an ethical barrier that you don't want to cross. But on the other hand, you see this person who's been like, their entire life has been destroyed on the internet. And you also kind of feel, okay, I understand where you're coming from. So those for me would be always, nowadays, are the 2 problems I have with like clients.
Yeah. Well, Sotiris brings up a good question in the Slack about ethics. And I guess, what Nico said and what Ines just mentioned is that there may be things that you withhold from your client because maybe it doesn't help answer that initial question. Maybe it's distracting. Maybe it's something that would require a whole bunch of more explanation or additional work to verify, like Paul's been talking about in the chat as well. So I guess, there's our ethics to think about as well as investigators, and not reputations, but understanding what's going to be helpful to the client, would you say as well? Yeah. Understanding your client. Stephen?
Yeah. And it kind of comes back to that original question of what parameters does the client set you at the start? What did they want to know? Because then, if I find something that might be humiliating or professionally embarrassing for them, but if they didn't want to know that, and if it doesn't impact on what they wanted to know at the start, might sit on that or clarify with them, are you sure you want to know? Because this wasn't in scope, but it might impact on you. So, again, I guess the clearer you were at the start with them, then you might know what to do with some of that awkward information that comes out sometimes.
So let's take one step back. I know we're running up here on the end of our show. Let's take one step back. Open source intelligence is one of the many intelligence domains. And what we do advises other people, right? We don't go and necessarily remove people's data from the internet. We don't take action on the data. We are the finders of the things. And so I think one of the challenges is understanding, what does our customer want us to find, what we can and are legally able to find, and then what we have the accessibility to find. And then once we have all of that, going and doing the work and then giving our customer back the answers. But it's definitely complicated. And as you're hearing from different continents, different countries, there's no one answer that's going to satisfy everything. And Stephen, you mentioned that you do cybersecurity-based risk assessments, so you're dealing with IPs and domains and all, and maybe working in an internal team. That's going to have a lot different type of scoping requirements than doing a high-value target risk assessment on the internet. So, complex question, but Thank you all. Anybody want to mention anything else before we wrap up? No? Okay. All right, cool. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you to our wonderful audience. We are the OSINT Curious Project, and as you know, we are here for you. We have a wonderful website, lots of social media accounts that are sharing free open source intelligence data, whether it's what do you do when you see things in an investigation that are very triggering to you and very emotionally challenging, like articles that Nico's written for us on our website, or how to scrape things from all the Facebooks like Lizette loves to write for us, to whatever. We are here to create that trustworthy, high quality open source intelligence techniques, tools, and other things for you, our community. So thank you for joining us. Now, before we go ahead and pop off here, I want to mention that we are going to be doing live shows all this week, May 10th through the 14th. It'll be at 1800 hours UTC, so the same time as this live stream. And we'll be starting out with Geoguessr every single day. And Nix, I'm hoping that when you come back on the show this week, once or twice, that we dive more into Python skills and we dive more into like Unix skills. Would you do that with me?
We'll do something techie. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. We'll geek out. And Nash, when you come on later in the week in Technisette, I think Friday's going to be our country streak Geoguessr episode, where last month we went for 24 countries in a row on Geoguessr and got them all correct. So I think we're gonna go for another record there. So looking forward to having you on.
30 at least.
What? Oh yeah, absolutely. So bring your refreshments, bring everything. It'll be a Friday night type of thing. And last time it took us, Sector and I and a bunch of people here, took us 2 hours. So we might need to take a bio break in the middle there this time. But cool. Thank you so much for being on Technisette. Stephen Harris, Christina, Ines, Nico. Thank you all for being here, and thank you, our audience. Do you all want to try to do it and say?
Please try.
At least try.
Okay. It'll be like 1, 2, 3, and then we say it. Okay. We can do this. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Stay
OSINT Curious.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye bye.